9 supplements I would never take because the risks from the human clinical trials far outweigh the benefits. Number 1 is direct antioxidants, particularly after exercise. For example, vitamin A, high-dose vitamin C, or vitamin E. So when we exercise, we stress our body, we release all sorts of oxidants, and that's a good thing. It signals to our cells that they need to become more efficient. So if we blunt that oxidative stress, we can blunt the positive effects of exercise, and we've got human clinical research showing this. For example, a randomized placebo-controlled trial of 54 healthy men and women, what they found is that by using vitamin C and vitamin E, it blunted the positive effects of exercise. And further studies have shown the exact same thing. Plus, from a recent 2022 systematic review that looked at vitamin and mineral supplementation, there was no benefit seen on either cancer rates or cardiovascular disease. So there's likely no benefit from supplementing with direct antioxidants. Again, that's vitamin A, high-dose vitamin C, or vitamin E, and we do have evidence of harm. And the harm isn't just restricted to exercise. We've got research showing that vitamin A and vitamin E may increase mortality rates. This is because it interferes with the balance between oxidants and antioxidants. There's also evidence that vitamin A is associated with an increased risk of lung cancer. And I just want to spend a bit more time on vitamin E because there's a lot of confusion on social media about this molecule. Vitamin E comes in a complex composed of 4 tocopherols and 4 tocotrienols. And I've seen on this platform other creators talking about how we should throw away the safety concerns of vitamin E because it was the alpha tocopherol that was studied, when instead it should be the tocotrienols that are studied. Okay, sure, that's a hypothesis that needs testing, but we shouldn't just throw away these safety concerns. We don't have long-term safety research on supplementing with tocotrienols. We don't know if they're safe or harmful. And these safety concerns are why I didn't include vitamin A or vitamin E in microvitamin, and I only used a low dose of vitamin C. And I personally take this supplement because of evidence from the Cosmos Mind study showing that if you get your micronutrient levels correct, you can help improve cognition. But just because I take a supplement does not in any way mean that you should as well. And to avoid confusion, I've referred to direct antioxidants here. It's a different story for indirect antioxidants, for example glycine and NAC. So when we age, a powerful antioxidant called glutathione appears to rapidly decline from the age of 45 years old. And by supplementing with the building blocks of glutathione, so NAC and glycine, we can help support our glutathione levels. And from the small, randomized controlled trials that we have so far, this strategy appears to correct the glutathione deficiencies and support mitochondrial function. We're very early on the research journey with the strategy, but I just wanted to highlight the difference between direct antioxidants, so again, vitamin A, vitamin C, and vitamin E, and indirect antioxidants, where we're supporting glutathione. The second group of supplements out of 9 that I would not take are anti-inflammatories, particularly after a workout. For example, diclofenac, ibuprofen, or Voltaren. There's also anti-inflammatory supplements such as CoQ10 and PQQ. When we exercise, we not only release a lot of oxidants, but we also inflame the body, and again, we don't want to interfere with that process. We want to signal to our body that it needs to become more efficient. A randomized controlled trial proves that by supplementing with CoQ10, it blunts the positive effects of exercise. There's also no good evidence of benefit from CoQ10. It's not been shown to be of value in treating cancer. Some studies have looked at whether CoQ10 might be helpful to prevent heart disease, but the results are inconclusive, and there's no meaningful effect on blood pressure. Plus, there's good evidence that patients who are on statin medications, CoQ10 doesn't offer any further benefits. You might be able to tell an overall theme to this video, and I'll reveal it at the end. Third on the list is resveratrol, and I've recently made a video about the resveratrol debacle, which you can find here. But overall, there's no good evidence that resveratrol offers benefits to either mice or humans. But we do have great evidence that resveratrol again blunts the positive effects of exercise. Multiple studies show this. Plus, resveratrol lowers testosterone levels, so there are harms to supplementing with resveratrol. Number 4 on the list that I would avoid is metformin for non-diabetics. While it's not a supplement, there are many people in the longevity field who take metformin for so-called health span benefits. Now, I want to be clear here, not a day at the clinic goes by where I'm not prescribing metformin for pre-diabetic and type 2 diabetic patients. The evidence for those patients is overwhelming. What I'm talking about here is non-diabetics using metformin. We've got great evidence from the Diabetes Prevention Program where they trialed over 3,000 adults who were non-diabetics and they followed them up for 21 years. Half of them took placebo, and the other half took metformin, and overall there was no difference in death rates, cancer, or cardiovascular disease. And just like resveratrol, we do have evidence of harm. Metformin, in multiple studies, blunts the positive effects of exercise by about 50%. It also, just like resveratrol, lowers testosterone levels. The fifth supplement out of 9 that I would definitely avoid is iron, and I'm including this one because when you have a look at Google's research, it shows that iron is an incredibly popular supplement worldwide. And it's probably because when people feel tired or fatigued, they think that they may have low iron and immediately start supplementing with iron. Now, if you've measured your iron levels using a blood test and you can see that your iron levels are low, then sure, supplementing with iron is probably a good idea. Instead, what I'm talking about here is people just blindly taking iron supplements. We know that iron supplements can interfere with zinc absorption. People may also develop inflammation of the stomach or gastritis and stomach lesions. Plus, an interesting paper recently came out involving just under 50,000 individuals, and what they found is that people that had higher levels of iron seemed to have lower life expectancy. There's also an idea that lower levels of iron may contribute to the reason as to why women live longer than men. So generally, women have lower levels of iron because of the monthly bleed. Could that be contributing to life expectancy? Number 6 on the list is calcium supplements. Again, from Google's research, calcium supplements are incredibly popular. And some people may need calcium supplements, for example, vegans or people who don't eat dairy products. But outside of those groups of people, some people just take calcium supplements to try and help strengthen their bones. But from the research that we've got at the moment, where calcium is combined with vitamin D, it doesn't appear to prevent fractures or breaks of the bones. Instead, there is a suggestion that calcium supplements may contribute to the development of kidney stones. There's also the concern that calcium supplements may contribute to the calcium buildup in our blood vessels. But the jury's still out on that one. A recent expert panel convened by the National Osteoporosis Foundation and the American Society for Preventive Cardiology determined that on the basis of moderate quality evidence, calcium from foods or supplements doesn't appear to either increase or decrease the risk of heart attacks. My overall point though is that if your diet is already well-rounded and you've got all of the calcium that you need, there's likely no benefit to supplementing with calcium, but there's possible harm. Number 7 is high-dose folic acid. And for clarity, I'm not including pregnant women here. So for example, when my wife was pregnant, she followed the clinical guidelines and supplemented with high-dose folic acid. But outside of that indication, concerns have been raised that high folic acid intakes may accelerate the progression of cancer lesions. There's also a suggestion that it could negatively affect the immune system and be a contributor to cognitive impairment among older adults. This is why I designed microvitamin to only have 200 micrograms of methylfolate. That's roughly 50% of the recommended daily intake. I wanted a supplement that I could pair with a great diet to help me reach my recommended daily intakes, but I didn't want to blow past those recommended daily intakes, again because there's possible harm. Number 8 of 9 is high-dose niacin, which is a form of vitamin B3, and other forms of vitamin B3 include NMN, NR, and nicotinamide. We've got great evidence from a meta-analysis published in 2018 that high-dose niacin is associated with an increased risk of all-cause death rates by about 10%. It also seems to cause an increase in new cases of diabetes, as well as serious disturbances in blood sugar control. It seems to increase serious infections, as well as bleeding. And regarding the other forms of vitamin B3, so NMN, NR, and nicotinamide, in mice, all of those forms of vitamin B3 get converted by the gut bacteria into niacin and then absorbed. And while we don't have the human research to know exactly how those different forms of vitamin B3 are absorbed, there's a strong possibility that they're first converted into niacin and then absorbed. The recommended daily intake of vitamin B3 is only 16 milligrams, but you'll see in the longevity space people taking orders of magnitude higher than that, up to 1 gram or 1.5 grams per day. Personally, I take 50 milligrams of nicotinamide, and I certainly wouldn't want to take any more than that. And the final group of supplements that I would definitely avoid is fat-burning supplements. At the end of the day, it's mostly caffeine, and you can get all of the caffeine that you want from coffee. So if you have 1 to 2 cups of coffee within 3 hours of waking up, that is perfect. That's all you need. So save your money on the fat-burning supplements. And hopefully you've picked up on the theme of this video. There's a lot of supplements that are complete garbage. If we wind it back, just keep it simple. diet, exercise, and sleep. There are a couple of supplements that do have good evidence, for example creatine for muscle performance and omega-3 to help reduce heart attack risks, but they are the icing on the cake of an already great lifestyle. And as mentioned in this video, I designed Microvitamin because I wanted a supplement to help me reach my recommended daily intakes of vitamins and minerals without megadosing and pairing it with a great diet. It also has TMG for exercise performance and hyaluronic acid for skin health. But just because I take a supplement does not in any way mean that you should as well. And aside from supplements, here is a video that looks at all of the strategies that you can do now to be healthier than 99% of the population.